Hello everyone, Luke Dog here, and welcome to an art stream I've decided to do. I figured I got no real plans. Figured I'd take a break from Yakuza and let's just draw something. So figured I'd probably let's try drawing a landscape, I guess. Like I said, I don't have any real plans. I just figured I'd hop on, try to see if I could stream some drawing, maybe. And I don't know, let's just talk about some random stuff. First up, I can already tell this is going to be a little tough because I'm in Clip Studio, but I don't have my chat set up. Every time I click, chat goes away because it's popped out. This is what happens when you only have one monitor, which unfortunately I do. What do I want to start with? Just get a little bit of sky going here. Should be good for now. Next. Sky layer. Mountain. I know it probably doesn't look like much now, but trust me, it'll pan out. And like I said, I don't have any real plans. I'm just going with the flow. Sometimes that's all you really need to do. Just get an inkling to draw something. Just go with it. Just like Bob Ross says, this is your world. You're the creator. Find freedom on this canvas. Do 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 do. I believe. Every day's a good day when you paint. I believe. You can bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. There we go. So are you guys enjoying the Yakuza series so far? I know I've been doing a lot of the side content, and like I said, I have no idea how many sub-stories there are in that game, but I want to try and do as much as I can at least. Of course, again, there's no guarantee that I'll get the Joe Amon final boss, because again, I don't know if I have to get stars on all of the sub-stories or if I just have to complete them. I don't know. Trying to even this out a bit. Now let's give this a bit more ridge. There we go. chat doing? Let's get some white on top here. Nope. There we go. Get some white on top here. Sorry if you can hear my dog in the background. She's doing her usual thing where she barks at anything that comes across. A little bit of texture on here. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just has to give some depth and shading. Top this off a little bit. Give us a bit more of a point. There we go. There. Put another one. Some mountains behind them. Let's see, this was... Let's go with a 50. Give it a bit darker. Not too big though. Let's just... make it about that size. Do for now. Let's add a bit of white on top, just like this one. Just going with some basic techniques for now. Bit too much white. I say techniques, but I'm not really that much of a artist compared to some. I have been doing digital art for a few years, but it's mainly been self-taught, so I don't claim to be an expert or anything. And that's okay. You don't need to be an expert on something. Yeah, let's get rid of some of this white. Whoop. Pen. Some of this white here. Give it a bit more of an edge. Like that. Okay, let's put another mountain up over here. Make this a bit smaller. don't worry, I'm not filling in the bottom parts over here because I plan to put stuff in front of them. I'm just basically putting these down for background. Some snow on the top of this one. And like I said, I'll go back and add some more shading and stuff later on. I'm just getting basic shapes down for now. There we go. Okay. Just going a little bit. Try to break up some of these rounded edges. That. There we go. Now for the front one. Be more prominent and centered. Let's fill that in. Yeah, unlike Bob Ross, I don't have different brushes and strokes to change the texture of my lines. Digital art, you gotta be a bit more creative. Okay, I got some mountains. How about we add some greenery up front? Let's see, what do I want to go with? Bit more yellow in there. Oh, wait. New layer. Can't forget that. That is the one good thing about digital art. You can never have too many layers. Just fill in this bottom portion. And just like that, you got a basic landscape. Of course, this is only the start. Could add some clouds up here. Some happy little clouds. First, put some more grass in here first. Put a little hill over here maybe. Going off screen. Doesn't it be completely flat? Yeah, I started doing digital art probably about a couple years ago. Probably before the pandemic. Yeah, it was probably like 2018, 2019 or so that I got my first tablet, which is what I'm using right now actually. And I've been basically on and off, just doing art ever since. Not professionally or anything. In fact, I originally wanted to try and start a webcomic, which I still kind of want to do. I already have a couple pages already done stuff. It's just, with how things have been going lately with life and all that, it's kind of taking a back seat, but it's still up there. As long as I still enjoy doing it, that's really all that matters, right? Let's see. How about... do some shading for the grass. Go to multiply. Yeah, that'll do. Let's see. Let's try the airbrush. Very gentle airbrush. Just give a little bit of shading and depth. Doesn't have to be too much. Just enough to show some. Whoop. Nope. Show some differential. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just making words up. I'm just trying to fill in the void of silence here. Okay, now with the grass, let's go back in. Do a tiny little bit of tiny little tufts here. Some individual blades. Might not look like much, but just to not make it look so flat. I'm sure there are better and faster techniques to do this, but again, I'm self-taught. This is how I usually do it. Like I said, I don't claim to be professional or anything, but this is just how I learn. Everyone learns differently. Everyone draws differently. That's okay. Do-do-do, do-do-do. Every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. Let's build some happy little clouds. Let's build some happy little trees. There are no limits here. Start out by believing here. You can almost paint with anything. All you gotta do is practice. There are no limits here. Start out by believing here. This is your world. You're the creator. Find freedom on this canvas. Believe that you can do it. 'Cause you can do it. 'Cause you can do it. Relax. Let it flow. Think like... Wait, no. I missed a verse. You get the point, though. Grab it, lift it, fluff it. You can go on and on and on. Layer after layer after layer. Yeah, I don't know if this will become a normal thing, but there's going to be something to help break up all the gameplay streams that I've been doing. There we go. There, gives a little bit more depth to it. Now then, what else do we want? The mountains, we need a bit of touch up on that. Mountain shading. Okay, let's see. Put this up there. Hold on. Let's get rid of that bit. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Let's start with you. It'll be the farther one, so that might be a bit too dark. Okay, where do I want the light to be from? Let's see. Let's have this bit be in shadow. Oh, I already see a problem here. This should go down this, so that way, this nice crisp edge here. Oh, and also, I should have done this in the first place. Select. Nope. Not this. Select. Let's see, was it layer mask or was it inverse? There we go. Okay. I just put a layer mask on, so now my shading will stay within the two far mountains and not go over the edge. Like this. See? Neat little trick I figured out. So now, put a little bit more shadow here for this front. Like that. Put a little bit more shadow over here too. This. It's a bit dark though. There we go. Put this down to 70% maybe. Shading, I've always been a bit iffy on when it comes to how I want to break stuff up. Yeah, shading, in my opinion, is probably one of the things I need to work on the most. Let's see, how do I want to do this? You want to give a little bit of depth, but at the same time you don't want to just, you want to break things up relatively realistically. I have no idea what I'm saying. Like I said, I'm just blabbering on. A little bit of depth at certain areas, so that's not totally flat. Again, this is where using the knife for Bob Ross's paintings would come in handy real good. But I don't have that luxury. So again, gotta get a bit creative. So yeah, when people say digital artists are not real artists, no, we are. We just use different tools and mediums. And not totally the same. A little bit like this, maybe. That's a good thing about art in general. There's no one way to do anything. You don't necessarily need a full plan when you start out. Sometimes you just gotta go with the flow and see what happens. A bit of depth up here too. Some peaks. I honestly have no idea what I'm doing with the shading for the snow, but like I said, shading is not really my forte. It's definitely one area I need to improve on. Like I said, I never claim to be an expert when it comes to art. I'll come back to that later. Let's go over to this big boy. Start putting some blocks in. See what sticks. I have no idea what that is. Like I said, I don't know how many people are actually going to be watching this, but I figured I'd try my hand at doing an art stream. Of course, I probably should have brought some topics to talk to myself about. So I've been watching this new anime recently. Kojima wants to be a Kamen Rider. I gotta say, if you love Kamen Rider or Tokusatsu, I definitely consider checking it out. Especially the Japanese dub. Well, I don't really care whether it's sub or dub. I honestly feel like this would make much more sense in Japanese. Especially since Kamen Rider is so prevalent in Japan. Not to say that English dub is bad or anything, but again, with me when it comes to anime, whether it's sub or dub, it usually depends on which version I come across first. So for example, My Hero Academia I watched in English. Food Wars I watched in Japanese. Naruto kind of reinforced my view of it, where I actually watched both the English and Japanese simultaneously. Because back when I started watching, the English dub was like, I want to say maybe like 5 to 10 episodes behind the Japanese dub. So I decided to watch each episode in both versions simultaneously, so that by the time I ran out of English episodes, I could immediately continue on with the Japanese and already be used to the voices. And that also reinforced my view of sub versus dub, which is, there's no competition. Yeah, the wording may not be exactly a one-to-one translation, but the message tends to get across pretty well. Especially like one version saying, I understand, and the other saying, I get it. It's not the same wording, but it means the same thing. If that makes sense. And again, because I watch Naruto in both versions, that basically confirm my opinions. So whenever I go to seek out a new anime, I'll try to look out for the English, but in case there isn't one, or if it's hard to find, I'll settle with the Japanese. I don't mind. It's okay. Yeah, we've gone far beyond the old days of the old 4Kids dub, where, you know, they had to alter footage and stuff to make it more kid-friendly for audiences. Yeah, we're not in those times anymore, guys. So, whether you prefer English or Japanese or both, just do whatever you enjoy. And to be honest, a lot of voice actors started off dubbing anime. A lot of big voice actors. I have no idea what I'm doing with this mountain. Just going randomly. Do 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 do. Rider jump. Do do. Rider kick. Kamen Rider. Kamen Rider. 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 How's everything looking so far? Pretty good. Put you down a little bit more. Yeah, for me, sometimes with the shading, I just put giant blotches of shadow on and then just try to trim it up like this. Not that many smooth shadows on mountain, but then again, I haven't seen a mountain in a long time. That's a bit too much. Don't be afraid to look up reference photos. That is very helpful. Let's put a big shadow over here, maybe. Just going off to the side. Might be a bit too much. Nope. Just put it off like this. You want to give a shading is just to help give depth to your objects. Not the best, but it's getting there. A bit more shading up here maybe would help. Go. Yeah, I'm basically just trying to figure out how to, with this stream, just putting in more of a variety for my content. Yeah, I've been doing gameplay videos for about 9 years now, on and off. So I figured it might be beneficial to put in a few more of my interests, just to help diversify. Art being one of them, Hololive being another. Okay, I'm just gonna leave that for now. I'll come back to it and touch it up, but sometimes it's best to move on to something else. Shading on this. Go. Air mask. Go up there. Okay. This is going to be more front and center. Probably want to do a bit more lighter, so let's turn this down a bit. How do I want to do this? Help if I could actually draw straight. Gotta think three-dimensionally for a 2D surface. Do do ba do ba do ba do ba do. Blah blah blah. Bit of shading. No idea how it's going to turn out. Sometimes you just gotta let the brush flow. I have no. Reposition myself, sorry. Here we go. Landscapes, I don't know if they would be my specialty or not. I think it kind of depends on what I decide to do with them. I haven't really done many self-portraits or just character pictures. Although, like I said, I have done a few webcomic pages that I haven't released or anything, but it's helped me to focus on posing and scene layout for the most part. That being said, again, I don't claim to be an expert or a major artist, at least, but I at least attempt to learn. See, here's where it gets a bit difficult. It's like, do I want this big shadow here? Do I want a bunch of small ones? How do I want to lay this out? I don't want things to be samey. Sometimes you should probably just put a big splotch of shadow on and just carve it from there. Yeah, and it's supposed to be rock. Jagged. Part of it could be I haven't really been experimenting with many of the other brush or pen settings, so it's probably an easier way to do this. I just haven't figured it out yet. I tend to stick to what I know. So, going back to anime or whatever, I would say Naruto was probably my main intro to like the wider anime community. It was the first really popular anime that I chose to watch on my own volition. Like, no one I knew was watching it at the time, at least. And I knew it was popular, so I decided to finally just check it out. And that basically is how I started down the big anime rabbit hole. I mean, again, I of course grew up watching Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And a bit of Digimon in the 90s and 2000s, but Naruto introduced me to the larger anime community as a whole. All these other genres and shows that I had, and that's basically how I discovered shows like Death Note, Attack on Titan, My Hero Academia, Food Wars, Re:Zero, Rising of the Shield Hero, One Piece, which I have actually started recently. I know, shocker. Over 1,000 episodes in, I decided to finally watch it. I'm currently in Enies Lobby right now. Luffy just burned the government flag, for those that know. So yeah, it's like 200 some episodes in. I got like almost 1,000 to go, and they just finished, quote, Season 1. Because it was recently announced that they would be taking a seasonal hiatus for the first time. Which, honestly, might be a good idea, considering this way it allows Oda to make new chapters for them to animate. And also, it allows them to take a bit of a break for once. Because, yeah, just imagine going over like 1,200 or so episodes, like pretty much weekly at this point. I think I'll leave that for now. Okay, we got mountains, we got grass. Let's put some trees in. Some happy little trees. Let's go for 20. Put a big one right here. Just off to the side here. Plant them down like that. There we go. Maybe branch poking out right up here. Maybe more like this. There we go. Just off out of camera shot. We can have another one going right up here maybe. That kind of bowing out. The one right back here. We could have a few stalks up here maybe. Too curvy. Just scattered about maybe. There we go. Let's add some leaves to these. And for this, I think I will use, where is it? There we go. Bring you down a bit. Not perfectly covered, but let's try airbrush. That's the thing, you gotta kind of experiment. Oh, not that one. Whiskey maple leaf. Sometimes you just go with the old reliable. That should be the part where Bob Ross takes his brush and just pats down a whole bunch of branches. But I don't have that luxury. I just have a pen. Make sure not completely smooth. A little bit of depth to it. Not totally flat. Trim you up a bit. Some bonsai. Bonsai trimming. Just add a little bit to the edge now. No tree is perfectly symmetrical. Now let's just give a little hint of some foliage up here, maybe. Just out of reach. You know what? Let's add a river. Start with that. A little darker, like that maybe. Start right over here. Sorry. More over this way. Zoom in here. Just touch this up a bit. Just going over the edge. So what's your guys' favorite anime? Or what's one anime that you've watched recently that you enjoyed? Like I said, I started watching Tojima Wants to Be a Kamen Rider. Because I wouldn't say huge tokusatsu fan, but I am, well, I guess you could say casual. I watched a bunch of Power Rangers. Well, not as a kid, but I watched basically almost the entire series when I went to college. Because back then, there were channels on YouTube that had basically uploaded majority of the seasons. So I basically used that as my way to introduce myself to the series. Of course, this was also back when YouTube's copyright policy was a bit more lenient. I'm sure most of those channels have probably been taken down long ago. But yeah, that's basically how I watched Power Rangers. And then I remember watching Kamen Rider Dragon Knight on Kids WB. I don't think I ever saw the full thing. So when I went to look up clips on YouTube, I found all these other Kamen Rider shows that were clearly not American. And I was like, oh wait, this was an actual Japanese show? Like Power Rangers? And that's basically how I was introduced to the larger Kamen Rider series. I've watched I watched the first decade of Heisei, and I'm currently like halfway through Double. I know, I've got a long way to go, but I've been working my way through it, slowly but surely. As for Super Sentai, I watched I watched Kyoryu Sentai Zyuranger, the one that Mighty Morphin was based on. I think I skipped Dairanger. I saw Kaku Ranger. I saw Shinkenger. I think those are the only ones that I've actually watched. I've been trying to get back into it, but again, with stuff going on, I just haven't had time to. And also, so many seasons have come and gone already that it's like, wait, how did I miss 5 seasons already? I thought it was only 2 years ago. But yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a diehard fan, but I definitely am a fan. Most people would probably consider me like a casual fan, but I still enjoy them. When I can see them, at least. Okay, shading for the water. How do I want to do this? I know this looks nothing like shading, but add a bit of ripple effect. Relax, let it flow. Think like water. Oh, wait, no. Let's do this instead. Forgot this is all one layer, so. Okay, hold on. Let's just rid of all this. How do I want to shade? Water is a bit tricky for me. Shading in general tends to be tricky, apparently. There we go. Caress it very gently. Grab it, lift it, fluff it. You could go on and on and on. Back and forth, back and forth. Layer after layer after layer. Let's build some happy little clouds. Let's build some happy little trees. There are no limits here. Start out by believing here. This is your world. You're the creator. Find freedom on this canvas. Believe that you can do it. 'Cause you can do it. 'Cause you can do it. I believe. I believe. Why are you not showing up? Why are you not showing up? Shadow. Oh. Maybe that's why. Weird. Since we're out here, I might as well put some clouds in. Happy little clouds. Put some happy little trees. There, do 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 do. Do 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 do. And this one trail off a bit. Too rigid. Let's go with something like this, maybe. Oop. No. There we go. There we go. Very wispy clouds here. Add a little bit over on this side. Sorry. I didn't mean to toot. This is your world, you're the creator. That song is gonna be stuck in my head now until the days are gone. Okay, these trees need some shading. So let's add some. What's this one? Ah, that was the foliage. Okay then. One good thing I like about digital art is that you can just name all your layers. There we go. Okay. Time for some that's a bit dark. If we go for brown, still a bit dark, but we could always lower the opacity at least. We could raise it up a bit. Yeah, this could work. First, though, I see. Gotta erase this bit. That's a little... Yeah, we could just do this then. There we go. There. Much better. Okay, tree shading. Start with you. Pretty dark. Don't want to oversaturate it, but give a little bit of depth to it. Blend. Again there. Do 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 do. Bum 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 bum. Do 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 do. How are we doing? Hour and 15 minutes. I believe. Every day's a good day when you paint. This song's gonna be stuck in your head for the rest of the day, isn't it? I'm gonna blend this. Nope. I'm gonna blend this. So that's edge isn't totally. Isn't totally solid. Wrong one. Like I said, shading is probably not my strong suit, but it's something. It's a bit more uniform. How do I keep going for that? can't remember what I did now. I went... No, I didn't do that at all. Oh, that's why. Too dark. Soft, maybe? Something like that. A little bit of airbrush. It's getting there. Let's see, what do I want to do now? The water needs work. Spilled some happy little clouds. Deepy 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 dee. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. This is your world. You're the creator. Find freedom on this canvas. And possibly mention anime. I mean, I think Bob Ross is able to do a landscape in less than 30 minutes. That's what was always interesting for me when I was little. It's like, yeah, it only took him a half hour to make this beautiful landscape. Of course, I know he like as a reference off screen, but still, the fact that he could do all this in, you know, like 20, 30 minutes is amazing. And all it took was a few colors, some brushes, and boom, done. Just goes to show, you can make an amazing art piece in very little time. All you gotta do is practice, figure out your strengths, and go from there. I think he once mentioned that. I think it was either art school or something, but his instructor basically said that he would never make it doing like people or self-portraits, so he decided instead to focus on landscapes. And look at him now. That's what he's known for. Because the good thing about landscapes is no one can tell you whether it's good or not. No one can tell you wrong, because it's whatever you want it to be. Now, how do I shade or add water? How do I want to do this? Do a few ripple effects. I should break this up. That's the thing. Nope. This is too much. There we go. Skin there. Yeah, a bit of foliage on this side though. Nope. Can we simulate it? This. Just lower this a bit. Oh, it's not completely smooth. A little bit of depth and character to it. As we go back, a little less defined. It's a bit too bumpy now, though. It's getting there. Not bad for about an hour and a half. Not bad. Not bad at all. Foliage could have a bit of shading though. Let's do that. Mask, put that up there. Boom. And okay, that'll work. Just lower you down a bit. Little bit of depth here. Airbrush. Little pockets of shadow. Not too bad. This one. Okay, I'm just going a bit too wild there. Gotta think about how I want the shape to be too.